Hi, YouTube, this is Anthony. I'm from Collective Memories in Hong Kong. So today we're going to talk about Dragon Ball cards, which is really quite special and driving a craze right now because of all the Dragon Ball fans you see after the movie, after Broly and everything, everybody's going crazy. But for like Dragon Ball cards recently, you can see from the market is a little bit different from the other trading card market. Maybe like we're talking about maybe like Yu-Gi-Oh, or maybe we're talking about Pokemon and everything. Uh, People usually go and buy some new cards and then they go on for grading and so on. But for Dragon Ball cards, usually the fans collect it raw. You see it maybe like you put in the binders and everything. But right now, people are starting to maybe like start trying to go for grading and so on. And if you know about authentication, or if you know about card grading, you see that there is two main companies right now, which is the first one is PSA, which is a rather old one, and a new one which is driving is going to be the Beckett. For the Beckett cards right now, like for Dragon Ball cards, there isn't any there isn't actually many people who start grading cards actually for Dragon Ball cards. Usually the Dragon Ball cards, because they collected maybe like 20 years ago, you go like get your cards from the grocery or maybe like from different card shops and everything. So they usually buy it raw, and the people there usually don't grade it. But for the new cards, like for the NBA cards, for the baseball cards nowadays, you see people like they go buy the cards and then they get it graded immediately. So that's a little bit different from the cards for maybe like different stuff. But for Pokemon cards and for Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you see that a lot of people go for grading already. But Dragon Ball cards is a little bit special, is because the cards are actually blossoming. The card price is actually rising. When you go to Japan or maybe you go to Hong Kong and other places, you can't find too many cards right now because the cards are really getting really rare nowadays, and especially for good quality cards. Like for grading, you can go for like Beckett grading, and Beckett grading is a little bit better than the PSA grading that I think is usually, because you get different grading marks. Like for this one, you can see that there is like different grading standards that are written here, which is different from PSA. PSA usually only have like the cards for like card grade. You get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until 10. 10 is the highest. And for Beckett, you get the 10 for the highest as well, which is like Prism and everything. And apart from the prestige and everything, you can see that there is actually broken upgrades, like for centering, for corners, for edges, and for the surface, which is a little bit quite different than the one previously. Because like for PSA, you only have one grade, but for Beckett, you get 4 grades, and then you can actually break it up. So if you're maybe like you're kind of the people who really fancy or really love good surfaces, you can actually see it here. And for Dragon Ball cards, it's hard to get good grades is because the centering is not too good for old cards. You see that when they cut the cards, it actually goes off-centered usually. So you see that it's really hard to get good grades for centering. Corners and edges, because they're like 20 years old at least, okay? So you see that it's hard to keep a good quality card, especially when if you think back maybe like 20 years ago, there isn't too much of these kind of binder books. You don't have so much Ultra Pro stuff, or maybe like some maybe like, I don't know, the plastic seals and everything for you to protect the cards, a protector and everything. But nowadays everything is popular, so for new cards it's easily to get good standards or keep it in a good quality. But back in those days, people just carry the cards and run around and like and battle with different kids, yeah, something like that. So it's hard to keep a good quality card. So which I would think that it might become a very popular stuff maybe afterwards, is because people just started playing, started collecting again and everything, especially in different series. Like for Dragon Ball cards, you can find that usually in the back in the maybe back in the 80s, okay, 80s, 90s, you can see some from the original series one, from the Hana ones, and then you can see some from the visual adventure ones like these ones. And most popular ones are the Carddass ones. You see like, this isn't Dragon Ball, okay. Yeah, like these ones from the GT series you can see, from the Z series you can see. So those cards are the ones that people start collecting nowadays. And I think if Bandai like keep on promoting everything, and I think this is actually a good thing to collect, okay? It's hard to get, there's a lot of memories among people, and then most importantly, the value of the cards is actually rising, and you can hardly find cards in Japan right now, especially the good qualities ones, because most of them are bought by the French, by American people, from Hong Kong, from Macau, or even from China, which the Chinese market just started blooming. Okay, so if you're interested in collecting cards, and if you have any questions on cards, feel free to go down to the comment section, and then you can leave a comment, or you can actually WhatsApp me or Facebook me on any good problems, or maybe like some difficulties, or maybe something you want me to share or tell you. Okay, okay, thank you. So this is for today, and if you have any extra questions, feel free to find me. Okay, thank you.